Hello, my amazing friends. Welcome back to English Enhance YouTube channel, where we make learning English simple, fun, and full of confidence. Today, we're going to talk about something really exciting: how to speak like a native English speaker. Yes, that means speaking English naturally, fluently, and confidently, just like the people you hear in movies, TV shows, or real conversations. Now, I know what you're thinking. Can I really sound like a native speaker? And the answer is, yes, you can. But it's not about being perfect. It's about making small changes every day, learning the right methods, and building your confidence step by step. In this video, I'll guide you through the journey. We'll talk about the real challenges English learners face, and I'll also share inspiring stories from students around the world, just like you, who learn to speak English with confidence. Before we start, let me tell you a little about myself. I've been teaching English for many years, and I've helped students from all over the world speak better, faster, and with more confidence. And guess what? Every learner starts with fear, doubt, and mistakes. But when you keep going, you grow. And yes, this lesson will feel like a story. Because when you learn through stories, you remember more, feel more connected, and enjoy the process. So get ready for an exciting adventure today. All right? Are you ready to begin? Let's explore how you can start speaking English like a native speaker. One simple step at a time. Let's go. Before we begin, let's talk about what it really means to speak like a native English speaker. Many people think it's all about having a perfect accent, but that's not true. Speaking like a native doesn't mean you have to sound exactly like an American or British person. It means speaking clearly, confidently, and naturally. When you speak like a native, you should be able to express your thoughts easily and use common phrases that people use every day. You will be able to understand others without feeling nervous or lost. Native-like fluency means you can have conversations comfortably, even if your grammar is not perfect. Now, let me tell you something very important. Native-like fluency is not about being perfect. It's about being real and authentic when you speak. Many people believe they need to sound perfect, but that's not what matters. What matters is that you are clear, confident, and able to express yourself. Think about it. When you talk to your friends in your own language, you don't worry about making mistakes. You just speak freely, right? The same should happen when you speak English. If you make a mistake, that's okay. It's part of learning. The most important thing is that you keep practicing and you keep speaking. So, how can you reach this level of fluency? With the right practice and mindset, you can absolutely do it. Remember, everyone starts somewhere. Even the people you think speak perfect English didn't start off speaking perfectly. They made mistakes too, but they kept going, and that's how they improved. It's also important to focus on real conversations. This means you should listen to real-life English, like movies, podcasts, or conversations, and try to use the words and phrases that you hear in your own speech. This will help you sound more natural and make your speaking easier and more comfortable. As you continue to practice, you will notice that you start using common phrases and your confidence will grow. It won't happen overnight, but with each small step, you will get closer to speaking like a native. And trust me, you'll get there. Now, remember, it's not about trying to sound perfect. It's about being real. When you speak English, speak with confidence, and don't worry about mistakes. The more you practice, the easier it will become. You have the ability to speak clearly, confidently, and naturally. Are you ready to start? Let's take that first step together and work towards your goal of speaking like a native. With practice and the right mindset, you'll get there. You might feel afraid to speak English. Maybe you think you will make mistakes. Maybe you think your grammar is not perfect, or you worry that someone will laugh at you. These are normal feelings. Many people feel the same when they learn a new language. But this fear can stop your progress. It can stop you from improving. That is why it's important to face this fear and speak anyway. Even native English speakers make mistakes. Yes, that's true. Nobody speaks perfectly all the time. Sometimes people forget words. Sometimes they say something wrong and then correct it. That's okay. It's a part of real life. So if native speakers make mistakes, it's okay for you to make mistakes too. Let me tell you about Maria. She is from Brazil. She wanted to speak English well, but she was very scared to speak in front of people. When someone asked her a question in English, she froze. Her mind went blank. She wanted to speak, but her fear stopped her. She thought, what if I say it wrong? What if I look stupid? One day, Maria decided to do something small. She looked in the mirror and said, "Hello, my name is Maria." Just that. Every morning, she started saying a few sentences to herself. She said things like, "Today is Monday," or "I feel happy today." She didn't worry about grammar. She didn't think too much. She just spoke. After a week, she started recording her voice on her phone. She talked about her day. She said simple things like, "I went to the store," or "I cooked dinner." Then she listened to her voice. At first, she didn't like it. She thought her voice sounded strange. But after a few days, she began to enjoy it. She started to feel proud. Maria kept doing this every day. A few minutes in the morning, a few minutes at night. Slowly, her fears started to go away. She felt more confident. She started saying small sentences to people at work. Then she joined a small English group. Now, she speaks English with her team at work. She even gives short talks in English. She still makes mistakes, but she is not afraid anymore. You can do the same. You don't need to wait. You don't need to be perfect. You can start now. Just speak a little every day. You can talk to yourself. You can look in the mirror and say, "Good morning. How are you?" You can talk about your plans. You can say, "Today I will go to the park," or "I will cook dinner." You can also record your voice. Use your phone. Talk for 1 or 2 minutes. Then listen. Don't judge yourself. Just listen. You will hear your progress over time. You will get better with practice. Speaking is like exercise. If you do it every day, you become stronger. Your tongue and your brain will get used to English. It will feel easier. You will feel more relaxed when you speak. Don't wait for the perfect time. Don't wait to know every word. Don't wait to feel ready. Start now, even if it's just 2 minutes a day. Talk about what you see. Talk about what you feel. Talk about your life. English is not just grammar and rules. English is communication. It's about expressing yourself. If you feel nervous, that's okay. Speak anyway. If you feel shy, that's okay. Speak anyway. If you make mistakes, that's okay. Speak anyway. The more you speak, the more confident you will become. Remember Maria, she was afraid too, but she started small, and now she is confident. You can follow her example. You have the power to speak English. You just need to believe in yourself and take one small step today. Today, try this. Talk out loud in English for 2 minutes. You can do it alone in your room. You can talk about your day, your feelings, or your plans. Say simple sentences. Don't stop. Don't worry. Just speak. This small step will help you grow. You will feel stronger. You will feel more confident. You will feel proud. Keep speaking. Keep going. You are doing great. Do you know the secret to sounding natural in English? The secret is listening. When you listen often, your brain starts to understand how English really sounds. You begin to hear the rhythm, the tone, and the way native speakers use words. This helps you sound more like a native speaker, and it makes your speaking easier and more natural. Listening is a very important part of learning English. Let me tell you about Rohit. Rohit is from India. He always struggled with speaking English. He knew some words and grammar, but when it was time to speak, he felt nervous. He couldn't understand how to make his speech sound natural. Rohit realized that he needed to listen more to improve. So, he decided to make listening a part of his daily routine. Every day, he listened to English podcasts, YouTube videos, movies, and news. At first, it was difficult. He didn't understand everything, and some words were too fast. But Rohit didn't give up. He kept listening every day, even when it felt hard. He began to notice something special. He started to understand more. He could hear the tone of the speaker's voice, the way words connected, and the rhythm of the language. Slowly, Rohit's brain started to get used to these sounds. It was like learning a song. The more you hear it, the easier it is to sing. But listening wasn't enough for Rohit. He wanted to sound like a native speaker, so he began to copy what he heard. He didn't just listen passively. He listened actively. He repeated the words, the sentences, and even the pauses. He copied the way the speaker's voice went up and down. He copied the rhythm and stress. At first, it felt strange, but over time, he started to sound more natural. His English improved, and he began to speak more confidently. Now, every time he listens to a podcast or watches a video in English, he repeats what he hears. He tries to copy the exact way the native speakers speak. This helped him understand how to use English in real life. Rohit learned that listening is not just about hearing words. It's about paying attention to how people speak. You can do this too. Listening is easy, and you can do it every day. Find a podcast or a video that you like. It could be about anything: music, news, stories, or even something funny. Choose something that interests you, so it's fun to listen to. Here's a simple practice tip. Choose one video or podcast today and listen closely. It's important to pay attention to how the speaker talks. What is their tone? How do they pronounce the words? Can you hear the rhythm in their speech? Once you listen carefully, pause the video and repeat what they say. Try to copy their pronunciation, rhythm, and tone. This is a great way to learn how to speak like a native. When you copy the way a native speaker talks, you learn the natural patterns of the language. You begin to sound more confident, and you feel more comfortable speaking. You can do this practice every day. It doesn't take much time, just a few minutes. But over time, you will see big improvements. Here's an example of how you can practice. Let's say you are listening to a podcast, and the speaker says, "I love to travel." Pause the podcast. Then, repeat what they said out loud. I love to travel. Pay attention to how they say the words. Do they say I slowly or fast? How do they say love and travel? Notice their voice and rhythm. Try to copy it exactly. If you are watching a movie, you can do the same thing. Pause when a character says something interesting or important. Repeat their sentence. Don't worry about being perfect. Just focus on how they speak and try to copy it. You don't have to understand everything right away. The goal is to practice listening to the sounds and patterns of English. Listening also helps you learn new words. When you hear words over and over, you start to remember them. You start to understand how they are used in real situations. Rohit noticed that the more he listened, the more he started to recognize new words and phrases. He was able to use them in his own speaking. This helped him sound more fluent and natural. The best part of listening is that you can do it any time. You don't have to wait until you have a special time to practice. You can listen while you are doing other things, like walking, cooking, or traveling. Even when you're not focused on learning, your brain is still listening and picking up new things. So, the more you listen, the faster you will improve. But remember, it's important to practice every day. Don't just listen once in a while. Make it a habit. Listen every day, even if it's only for 10 or 15 minutes. Try to listen to different speakers, different accents, and different topics. This will help you get used to all kinds of English. Listening will also help you improve your understanding of English grammar. You will start to notice how native speakers use grammar in real sentences. You might hear them say, "I've been to the store," or "I will go to the park tomorrow." When you hear these phrases many times, you will start to understand the grammar behind them. Listening is one of the best ways to get closer to sounding like a native speaker. It helps you understand English in a natural way. It also helps you speak more easily and confidently. The more you listen, the more you will understand, and the better you will sound. So, start today. Choose a podcast or a video. Listen carefully. Pause and repeat. Copy the rhythm and pronunciation. And remember, don't worry if it's hard at first. With practice, it will get easier. Keep listening, and soon you will hear yourself speaking more naturally, just like a native speaker. You don't need to sound like an American or British person to speak well. What you really need is clear pronunciation. Pronunciation is about how clearly you say words. It's not about trying to copy an accent. Many learners think they must sound like a native speaker, but that's not true. Clear pronunciation is the key to being understood. If you can say words clearly, people will understand you easily, no matter what your accent is. Let me tell you about Fatima from Turkey. Fatima wanted to speak better English, but she didn't try to copy an accent. She realized that focusing on accents wouldn't help her. Instead, she decided to work on pronunciation. She started by focusing on the sounds in English that were difficult for her. For example, the sound heth was hard for her. In her language, the sound doesn't exist, so it was difficult to say words like this or thank. She also struggled with the sound R. In her language, the R sound is different, so she wanted to improve her English R sound. Fatima didn't just practice these sounds by repeating them slowly. She used tongue twisters and fun mouth exercises to help her. Tongue twisters are sentences that have similar sounds in them, and they can help you practice difficult sounds in a fun way. For example, a common tongue twister for practicing the thief sound is 33 thirsty thieves, thought they thrilled the throne. These tongue twisters helped Fatima focus on saying the sounds clearly and correctly. She practiced every day, and slowly she became much clearer and easier to understand. The best part is that she didn't try to change her accent. She just worked on saying the sounds correctly. This made a huge difference in how clearly she spoke. Now, when people hear Fatima speak, they understand her easily. Her pronunciation is clear, and she feels much more confident when speaking in English. You don't have to change your accent to speak well. You just need to focus on the sounds that are difficult for you. Every language has sounds that can be tricky, and English is no different. Some sounds might not even exist in your language. For example, the th sound is difficult for many learners. In some languages, the v sound is hard to say. The important thing is to practice those sounds and make them clearer, so people can understand you easily. Here's a practice tip for you. Pick one difficult sound in English, like the th sound or the v sound, and practice it every day. You can use tongue twisters to make the practice fun. Tongue twisters are great because they help you practice similar sounds in a sentence, which will improve your clarity. For example, for the ETH sound, try saying, 33 thirsty thieves thought they thrilled the throne. Repeat it slowly at first, then try to say it faster. Don't worry if you make mistakes. The more you practice, the clearer you will get. Another example for practicing the V sound is, Vincent's very vivid vase is very valuable. Repeat this sentence slowly and focus on the V sound. When you practice this way, you're training your mouth and tongue to say the sounds correctly. It might be difficult at first, but the more you practice, the easier it will get. You can also practice by recording yourself. When you listen to your own voice, you can hear if your pronunciation is clear. If you don't hear the sounds clearly, try again. Keep practicing every day, and you will get better. It's important to practice regularly, even if it's just for a few minutes a day. The more you practice, the clearer you will sound. Remember, the goal is not to change your accent, but to be understood. If you can pronounce the sounds clearly, people will understand you better. That's what matters most. Even if you have a different accent, people will appreciate your effort to speak clearly. Clear pronunciation helps you feel more confident when speaking, because you know people will understand you. If you focus on your pronunciation, you will notice improvements in your speaking. When your pronunciation is clearer, people will listen more closely to what you say. They will understand you better, and that will help you feel more confident. Clear pronunciation makes speaking English feel easier and less stressful. If you ever feel frustrated, don't give up. Pronunciation can take time to improve, but with practice, it will get better. Try to practice a little bit every day, and soon you will start to notice the difference. Remember, it's all about clarity, not accent. You can speak clearly and confidently in English, no matter where you're from or what your accent is. So, here's your challenge. Choose a sound that is difficult for you. It could be the th sound, the v sound, or another sound you find hard to pronounce. Practice it every day with tongue twisters or short sentences. Try saying the sentence slowly, and then faster as you get more comfortable. Record yourself to check your progress. Keep practicing, and soon your pronunciation will improve. With clearer pronunciation, you will be able to speak with more confidence, and others will understand you easily. Good luck. Keep practicing, and you'll see improvement. To speak English naturally, you need to use real-life vocabulary, the kind of words and phrases that native speakers use every day. This includes idioms, phrasal verbs, and common expressions. These are the building blocks of everyday conversation. If you want to sound like a native speaker, it's important to learn and use these words and phrases in your daily life. Let me tell you about Marco from Italy. Marco loved reading English books. He would read every day, and one day he realized that the books he was reading were full of phrases that native speakers used often. These phrases were different from the words he learned in his English lessons. He saw that phrases like hang out, take a break, and call it a day were used in many conversations. Marco decided to write these phrases down and keep track of them. He made flashcards to help him remember the phrases. But the most important thing he did was use them. Every time he spoke in English, he tried to use these new phrases. He used them when talking with friends, at work, and even when practicing by himself. At first, it felt a little awkward, but as he kept using these phrases, he started to feel more confident. Slowly, his speaking sounded more natural, just like a native speaker. Marco didn't just learn new words, he learned how to use them in real conversations. And this made a big difference in his ability to speak English. You don't need to learn every word or phrase at once. The key is to focus on real-life vocabulary. These are the words and phrases that people use every day when they talk to each other. They are often informal, and they make your English sound more natural. For example, instead of saying, "I will rest for a while," a native speaker might say, "I'll take a break." Instead of saying, "I will spend time with my friends," a native speaker might say, "I'll hang out with my friends." And instead of saying, "I am finished with my work for today," a native speaker might say, "I'm going to call it a day." These phrases are easy to learn and fun to use. And once you start using them in your daily conversations, you will sound much more like a native speaker. So how can you start using real-life vocabulary in your own English? Here's a practice tip. Today, write down 3 new phrases or idioms that you want to learn. They can be from a movie, a song, or a conversation you heard. Once you have your 3 phrases, use them in a short sentence about your own life. For example, if you learn the phrase hang out, you could say, "After work, I like to hang out with my friends." Or if you learn take a break, you could say, "I need to take a break from studying." It's important to make the phrases your own by using them in sentences that fit your daily life. Another tip is to use flashcards. Write the new phrases on one side of the card and the meaning or an example sentence on the other side. You can carry these flashcards with you and look at them whenever you have a few minutes. This will help you remember the phrases and use them in conversation. Listening to native speakers is also a great way to learn real-life vocabulary. You can listen to podcasts, watch movies, or follow English YouTube channels. Pay attention to the phrases that they use often. Try to repeat those phrases out loud. This will help you remember them and practice your pronunciation. When you use these phrases in conversations, don't worry if you make mistakes. It's normal to make mistakes when learning a new language. The important thing is to keep trying. The more you use real-life vocabulary, the more comfortable and confident you will become in speaking English. One of the best things about learning real-life vocabulary is that it helps you connect with people. When you use the phrases that native speakers use, you sound like you belong. You'll understand more of what people are saying, and they will understand you more easily. Remember, you don't have to know every idiom or phrase. Start small. Choose a few phrases that you hear often or that you think you'll use in your daily life. And then, practice using them in conversations. Over time, you will find that your English becomes more natural, and you will feel more comfortable speaking with others. Here's another tip. Don't just learn the phrases, but also learn the context in which they are used. For example, the phrase, "call it a day," means to stop doing something for the day. You wouldn't use this phrase when talking about a future event. It's used when you decide to finish what you're doing, like after work, or after a long day of study. The more you learn about how and when to use these phrases, the more natural your speech will become. So, take it one step at a time. Every day, learn and use a few new phrases. Write them down, practice using them, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. Remember, speaking naturally is not about knowing all the words. It's about using the words that native speakers use in everyday conversations. By using real-life vocabulary, you will sound more fluent, and you will understand English much better. Over time, these phrases will become part of your natural speaking style, and you will feel more confident when speaking English. Good luck with your practice today. Don't forget to try using new phrases and idioms in your sentences. The more you practice, the more natural your English will become. This is the final and most important step. Believe in yourself. It doesn't matter if your grammar isn't perfect or if you don't know all the big words. What matters is that you speak. Confidence is the key to making your English sound stronger and clearer. Let me remind you of Maria from Brazil. At first, she was very shy and afraid to speak English. But then, something changed. She began to believe in herself. She realized that it was okay not to be perfect. She knew that the more she spoke, the better she would get. This belief helped her speak with more joy, more energy, and less fear. Maria didn't wait until her English was perfect. She spoke even when she made mistakes. And with every conversation, she got better. Slowly, her confidence grew. She began to speak with clarity and confidence, and her English improved faster than she ever imagined. Confidence makes a big difference. When you believe in yourself, it shows in the way you speak. People will understand you better, and they will be more likely to listen to you. Even if you make mistakes, it's okay. The most important thing is to speak and to keep practicing. Confidence is more important than being perfect. Now, let's talk about how you can build your confidence. One of the best ways is to start by speaking out loud. You don't need to wait for the perfect moment or the perfect grammar. Speak when you can. Speak to yourself. Speak to a friend. Or speak to a language partner. The more you speak, the more confident you will become. If you're nervous, start by saying something simple but powerful. For example, try saying this with confidence. I'm learning English, and I'm proud of it. Say it out loud. Feel the words and the confidence in your voice. Don't worry about making mistakes. Just speak clearly and with pride. Your energy and your confidence matter more than your mistakes. The great thing about learning English is that you don't have to be perfect. Native speakers make mistakes all the time. They might forget words, use the wrong grammar, or mix up their sentences. But they don't stop speaking. They keep going, and that's how they improve. You can do the same. Here's a practice tip for you today. Find a language partner or use a speaking app. These tools can help you practice speaking every day. When you speak with a partner, don't worry about making mistakes. Just focus on speaking clearly and confidently. Even if you say something wrong, your partner will understand, and you can learn from your mistakes. Another tip is to use a mirror. Stand in front of the mirror and practice speaking. Look at yourself as you speak, and remember that you are doing a great job. This helps you become more comfortable and confident in your own voice. You can also record yourself speaking and listen to it. This way, you can hear how you sound and notice where you can improve. It's a great way to build your confidence and track your progress. A big part of building confidence is staying positive. Celebrate every small victory. Did you speak a little more today? That's great. Did you try a new phrase? Awesome. Each time you speak, you are getting better. Be proud of yourself for trying. The more you celebrate your progress, the more confident you will become. One thing you can do is set small speaking goals for yourself. For example, today, decide that you will speak English for 10 minutes without stopping. You could talk about your day, your plans, or anything that interests you. The key is to speak confidently and not worry about making mistakes. If you make a mistake, just correct it and keep going. Each time you do this, you'll get better. Remember that confidence doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. But every time you speak, you are taking a step forward. The more you practice speaking with confidence, the easier it will become. And over time, you will feel more and more comfortable speaking English, even in situations where you once felt nervous. If you ever feel afraid to speak, just remind yourself that confidence is key. You don't have to be perfect. You just need to believe in yourself and keep practicing. Every time you speak, you are getting closer to your goal of speaking English fluently. Another great way to build confidence is by listening to positive stories. Find people who inspire you. Watch videos or listen to podcasts where people talk about learning English and overcoming challenges. These stories will remind you that you are not alone. Everyone has been through the same struggles, and they all made it through by continuing to believe in themselves. So, today's challenge is simple. Find a way to speak with confidence. Whether you talk to a partner, record yourself, or speak in front of a mirror, the goal is to speak proudly. Use your energy and enthusiasm to push through any fears or doubts you might have. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. The most important thing is to speak, to practice, and to believe in yourself. Keep going, and remember that every word you speak is a step toward your goal of speaking English fluently. Your confidence will grow the more you practice. Keep believing in yourself, and you will see the progress you want to achieve. So let's quickly review the 5 powerful steps to speaking like a native English speaker. Overcome your fear. Start small, talk to yourself, and just begin. Don't worry about making mistakes. The key is to practice and get comfortable with speaking. Listen actively. Learn from native speakers by mimicking how they speak. Listen to podcasts, watch videos, and repeat what they say. This will help you understand the natural rhythm and flow of English. Master pronunciation. Focus on clarity, not accent. It's more important to pronounce words clearly than to sound like a specific accent. Practice the sounds that are difficult for you and keep improving. Use real vocabulary. Learn natural expressions and use them in your conversations. Idioms, phrasal verbs, and everyday phrases will help you sound more like a native speaker and make your English more natural. Speak with confidence, believe in yourself, and speak boldly. Even if your grammar isn't perfect or your vocabulary is small, confidence is what makes your English more powerful. Keep practicing, and over time, you'll speak more clearly and with more confidence. You can do this. It's not about being perfect, it's about being consistent. Step by step, day by day, your English will grow stronger and more natural. Thank you so much for joining today's lesson on English Enhance YouTube channel. If this helped you, please like this video, subscribe, and tap that bell icon so you don't miss our next lessons. Keep practicing, stay confident, and always believe in yourself. You're doing amazing, and I'm so proud of you. Keep up the great work, and I'll see you next time.